All right, look, I'm here again. I'm at the appointed hour. I'm gonna read the stupid book, and then as soon as I get done doing this narration, you're gonna get the fuck out of my life. Do I make myself fucking clear? Oh, Kindred, no reason for all this hostility. Yeah, I think I got a fucking reason. Some 8-foot-tall, fucking gangly, unwashed motherfucker broke into my goddamn studio and I... What is this? Drink it, boy. No. See, my parents raised me right. I know better than to take any kind of liquid from strangers. Most of the time. Look, can you just get out of the way? You take up all this fucking space. Go... Where'd you go? Are you doing that thing where you hide in the fucking shadows again? Answer me! Fine. Fuck. Whatever. Hello, and welcome everybody back to an ongoing narration of The Book of Nod, as provided by Vandal, I'm assuming is their name. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. A brief word on the Chronicle of Caine. It is unimportant that this part of the Book of Nod is not comparatively accurate with the standard biblical canon. What is important is that we have, perhaps for the first time, a personal viewpoint on the events surrounding the days after the fall. Caine tells us in his own words what his motives were, and although it is quite possible that this story exists only to shape our idea of him, we can assume that there must be some element of truth in his tale. His account is, after all, the only eyewitness report we have to rely upon. Our dear Father. In some Islamic myths, the translated Satan figure is thrown from heaven, and not because he hates mankind, but because he loves God too much to bow to any other but God, and he will not serve man. It is perhaps that Caine shares in this love that he so loves his brother that he cannot think of any other worthy sacrifice to the one above. Surely Caine could not have had any other reason to sacrifice his own brother, who could not know death, having been born before death was something humanity had experienced. Other figures of that time also play instrumental roles in this book. Surely it is not pure mythological transliteration that causes Lilith to appear in the story, for she is a figure in the oldest of the Hebrew text. Having been cast out of paradise first, she would recognize Caine for one who had been in the light of heaven and subsequently cast out. There are those among my colleagues who believe that this stanza should represent the idea that Lilith, mother of magic and a demoness herself, taught the first disciples to Caine. Others see her role as a being a midwife to her father's awakening to his own magical potential. What remains to be discovered is the fabled cycle of Lilith, which supposedly describes the time Caine spent with Lilith as her servant and lover. Was it merely a dalliance, or could it have been some kind of mystical apprenticeship, during which Lilith gradually drew out of Caine the limitations that the divine had placed upon him, and slowly awakened him to his own magical powers? The fact that she shows trepidation at his drinking her own blood from the awakening cup might point to her lack of total understanding as to what, exactly, this might do to the first son of Adam. We cannot afford to speculate whether the cup causes a hallucination in Caine, or whether Caine actually physically transported to a wilderness somewhere in the darkness. This is not understood, neither is it explained by the translation of the original text. The original phraseology essentially means breathed in or moved. Both meanings of the word point to either explanation, and we cannot gain much in the debate. It matters not whether Caine was physically transported. Like shamanic visions recorded as a result of ritually consuming hallucinogenics, Caine's experience was as real to him as any journey might be to you or me. My child, Beckett, continues to restate his opinion that the Chronicle of Caine is a vampiric parable. I totally disagree, but Beckett is a beloved child. I will include his studies and findings here, below. A Parable of Genesis, recognizing allegory in the Chronicle of Caine. Because of the literary distance between the current translations of the text, Dr. D. Laurent's translation included, of the Book of Nod, the original intent of the book has been lost. It is my theory, based on my own researches, that the stories of Cain and Abel, Cain's curse, and a subsequent mating with Lilith are parables created to tell the tale of the first kindred in such a way that even the simplest of us can understand them. Through my own scholarship and drawing upon the work of fundamental caine scholars in the world, including some captured writings by a Black Hand worshipper of Cain, I have created a story which I believe harkens back to the original parable. In the time after humanity went from a hunter-gatherer society to cultivating farm animals and developing agriculture, there were two tribes, named for their chiefs. They were called the people of Cain and the people of Abel. The people of Abel were herders and animal husbanders, and were more primitive than the people of Cain. They worshipped a great sun god, who was a warrior who lived in the sky. The people of Cain were agricultural, and much more civilized than the people of Abel. Because it was so important to time the harvest, the people of Cain worshipped the moon goddess, the Dark Mother, who was both fertility of the earth and the mystery of the moon. Yet, not all of the people were happy. Chief Abel attacked Cain's people, telling them that they were inferior and cursed them because they did not hunt like their sun god hunted. Cain's people did not know much about fighting, but Cain taught them how to use the sharp things that they used in the soil to kill. When Abel's people came back to torment them again, Cain's people fought back. All of the men, women, and children of Abel were killed. The sun god of the people of Abel then called them cursed as a people, and laid a blood curse on all of them, so that they would wander without a home in the wilderness. He burned their villages and salted their fields, and told all of them to stay away and turn away from the people of Cain. The people of Cain were unable to recover. They had wandered in the curse for many weeks until they had no food to eat and had many troubles. Then the priestess of the Dark Mother, who lived beyond the moon, came. The priestess offered Cain's people respite, succor, and cerise. They taught them magic, taught them how to hunt, and taught them how to drink blood. The sun god came to Chief Cain in his dreams and told him that he and his people were to return and subjugate themselves to the will of the people of Seth. Chief Cain refused. Then the sun god told them that all of the people of his tribe would be cursed forever, and it was so. But the Dark Mother said that there would always be a way to overcome this curse if the people of Cain would come to her. Through her mystery, she would free them from the curse of the sun god. In this parable, Cain's people and Cain represent our need for civilization, the humanities that we constantly seek. Abel's people and Abel represent our animal natures, our wild selves, the beast that lives within us. The Dark Mother represents the mystery that guides our very existence, the magic of our blood, the power of disciplines. We must seek the mystery of Dark Mother while dealing with the legacy left behind by the sun god, our curse. Ergo, a beast I am, lest a beast I become. Golconda is held out as a final goal, perhaps balancing all these things and showing the transcendence of the beast within. And so, at last, the Chronicle of Cain. I dream of the first times, the longest memory. I speak of the first times, the oldest father. I sing of the first times, and the dawn of darkness and nod, where the light of paradise shone, lit up the night sky, and the tears of our parents wet the ground. Each of us, in our own way, set about to live and take sustenance from the land. And I, firstborn Cain, I, with sharp things, planted the dark seeds, wet them in the earth, tended them, and watched them grow. And Abel, second-born Abel, tended the animals, aided their bloody births, fed them, and watched them grow. I love him, my brother. He was the brightest, the sweetest, the strongest. He was the first part of all my joy. Then one day, our father said to us, Cain, Abel, to him above you must make a sacrifice, a gift of the first part of all that you have. And I, firstborn Cain, I gathered the tender shoots, the brightest fruits, the sweetest grass. And Abel, second-born Abel, slaughtered the youngest, the strongest, the sweetest of his animals. On the altar of our Father, we laid our sacrifices and lit fire under them and watched the smoke carry them up to the one above. The sacrifice of Abel, second-born, smelled sweet to the one above, and Abel was blessed. And I, firstborn Cain, was struck from beyond by a harsh word and a curse, for my sacrifice was unworthy. I looked at Abel's sacrifice, still smoking, the flesh, the blood. I cried, I held my eyes, I prayed night and day. And when Father said, the time for the sacrifice has come again, and Abel led his youngest, his sweetest, his most beloved to the sacrificial fire, I did not bring my youngest, my sweetest, for I knew the one above would not want them. And my brother, beloved Abel, said to me, Cain, you did not bring a sacrifice, a gift of the first part of your joy, to burn on the altar of the one above. I cried with tears of love, as I, with sharp things, sacrificed that which was the first part of my joy, my brother. And the blood of Abel covered the altar and smelled sweet as it burned. But my Father said, Cursed is you, Cain, who killed your brother. And I was cast out, so shall you be. And he exiled me to wander in the darkness in the land of Nod. I flew into the darkness. I saw no source of light. And I was afraid and alone.